Today, we're making old things new again and reviving long-lost recipes.
First, I'm recreating a recipe from one of Hollywood's most legendary restaurants, delicious grapefruit cake.
Hey, Becky!
Then, I'm helping a home viewer recreate a long-lost family recipe, Smackin biscuits and milk gravy.
Thank you.
And finally, I'm making a recipe from my childhood, fried crab.
We're gonna be kicking things off, y'all, with a delicious grapefruit cake that was inspired by Hollywood's famous Brown Derby restaurant.
And you know what? It's relatively easy to make. We're gonna sift together 3/4 a cup of sugar, 1½ cups of cake flour, along with 1½ teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, I've already got all those ingredients sifted in the bowl for you because you don't want to watch me sifting, do you? The Brown Derby was actually opened the year that my mother was born, 1926, and they closed in 1985. And as long as they were in business, they would not release or share any of their recipes. So I'm looking so forward to this one. All right. Now, we've got our things sifted. We're just gonna make a little well because we're gonna add our wet ingredients now. 1/4 of a cup of water, 1/4 a cup of vegetable oil, about 1/2 teaspoon of grapefruit zest. You know, I love grapefruit, I think, better than I do oranges. Oh, I just love them. And these bring back so many good memories for me. My grandmother and grandfather Hires lived in Winter Haven, Florida, and they had grapefruit trees and orange trees all over their yard. And my little grandmother, I can see Grandma Hires right now, teetering out in the yard in her high heels. I never saw her in any shoe other than a high heel. I never saw her in any clothes other than a dress. And she would teeter out there. She's 4'10" tall. She would reach up into that grapefruit tree in the morning, pull down those wonderful grapefruits, and come back in the house and squeeze me some fresh grapefruit juice for breakfast. And there was just nothing better. So just the smell of grapefruit brings back wonderful memories to me. So we're gonna need about 3 tablespoons of grapefruit juice. So I'm gonna just juice that over my little strainer to catch our seeds, and that looks like it should render about 3 tablespoons. Let's see what we got here. All right. Look, it's the color of my shirt. Because I'm using a pink grapefruit. Well, look, I had a little bit more than 3 tablespoons. So I'll just finish drinking that off. So good. All right, now I'm gonna add 3 egg yolks. I have beaten the 3 egg whites that came off those yolks along with 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar to make them nice and stiff. We just take our mixer and we're just gonna mix those ingredients. We've got our cake almost together. Easy, easy cake. You know, and it's not a big cake, is it? It's not like a lot of the cakes we make here in the South where they can be anywhere from 4 to 8 to 12 layers. So there we go. I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit, making sure I mix those ingredients together real good. There we go. All right, we're gonna come over here and we're gonna take our egg whites and we are gonna fold those in to our batter. And you'll wanna remember, you know, anything involving egg white, you might wanna save for a pretty day because rainy weather can really mess up meringues. So we've got this all blended together. Now I'm gonna cook this cake in just 1 layer, and I have lined the bottom of my pan with wax paper, and I've sprayed it so that our cake will come out nice and even for us. I've preheated our oven to 350 degrees, and we're gonna bake this cake layer off for about 25 minutes. So we just wanna even that out, and I can see a lot of bubbles in this batter. So I'm just gonna drop it. See, look at all the bubbles. See them bursting? So just a few drops on the counter will cause those bubbles to rise and pop, so we won't have those bubbles in the middle of our cake after it's baked. So in the oven it goes for about 25 minutes.
Up next, we're gonna be making biscuits and milk gravy, just the way Becky's grandma used to make them. And later, it's fried crabs, y'all, just like my grandma Paula used to make.
Do you ever get too old to miss your grandparents?
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
Hey y'all, welcome back. I've got our cake baked, and I just cut that layer in two with a serrated knife. All we're gonna do is take some fresh grapefruit sections, put this on top of the filling that we've put on our first layer of cake. Now we're gonna take our top layer and we're just gonna put it on top of the grapefruit and the icing.
Our icing is real simple to make. It's just
1 12-ounce container of soft cream cheese, 3/4 a cup of powdered sugar, 2 teaspoons of fresh grapefruit juice, 1 teaspoon grapefruit zest, and 6 drops of a yellow food coloring. And we're just gonna frost this cake, tops and sides. I'm gonna be making this for my fat boy. So, I'm just gonna put a few pieces of grapefruit section, just like this. It's beautiful, isn't it? I'm gonna taste that in a few minutes, but I wanna share with y'all an email that I got from a viewer. It was so sweet. I get a lot of mail. And this email came from a young woman named Becky. Her grandmother lived in Northeast Florida for over 40 years. She said every Sunday we'd wake up to the smell of her making her special breakfast, homemade biscuits and milk gravy. It was heaven, she says. And I can't tell you what I wouldn't give for just one more Sunday with my Bamba. We're gonna see if we can help her with some biscuits. Hey, Becky!
You're gonna make me cry. And listening to you read that email made me want to cry.
Listen, it's so sweet. So often we lose those recipes. So I'm gonna see if I can't help you.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, honey. So let's start by making the biscuit.
Okay.
Now we have some flour, little sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and buttermilk.
Okay.
And of course, the thing that makes it so good, and that's the shortening. So let's measure out 3 cups of all-purpose flour into our bowl.
I warned you I'm not a good cook. So.
Listen, I bet you're a better cook than you
I'm
give
not.
yourself
My
credit
husband
for.
is the cook in our family. I'm very
he
blessed.
is?
He is.
Now we are gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Okay.
Now we need 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Now because we're using buttermilk, we're gonna add some soda to our biscuits. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda.
All right.
Now the last thing we're gonna add is about 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
So if you'll take your fork now and just fluff all your ingredients together.
All right.
We've got 1/2 cup of solid shortening here. Put that into your
That doesn't
flour.
look healthy. There we go.
When you're eating a biscuit,
You don't
does
care, do you?
anybody really care?
No. Does this look like I'm doing it correctly?
It looks like you're doing it correctly, and maybe by tomorrow we'll have it cut in.
There you go. You be nice to me, I can't cook.
So you just keep cutting, girl.
All right.
And I'll start pouring in your buttermilk for you, and you can just work that buttermilk into your dry ingredients. There you go. And you can see that your dough is really, really wet now. If you want to wash your hands off, just help yourself. We're gonna move our bowl on over here. Knead this dough just a few times.
Okay.
We don't want to overwork it though, because that'll make our biscuits tough.
Am I doing it correctly?
Yes, you're doing it correctly. All right, that looks great. So we wound up using a cup of buttermilk. All right, so I'm just gonna put that down just like that. Now we're gonna take our rolling pin, we're gonna dust it with flour, and then we're just gonna gently roll out our biscuit dough.
Okay. May I do that?
Yes, you
Yay!
may.
Okay.
There you go. I would stop right there if I were you, because I like thicker biscuits.
I do too.
All right, now here's your flour, and here are your biscuit cutters. So just dip your biscuit cutter down in there.
Okay.
And press it down into your dough. These are great looking biscuits, girl. So I'll spray the pan for you, and you just lay those biscuits out the way you like them. So now I'm just gonna push down the middle of these, because the last thing that we're gonna do.
Better.
You got
Yay.
it. Hit
Great.
it, girl. I don't
All
think
right.
you need any directions on that, do you?
No. I like a lot of butter. Is that okay?
No, that's not okay. Of course it's okay, girl. All right, our biscuits are ready to go in the oven, and hopefully these are gonna live up to Becky's memory of her Bomba's biscuits. So we're gonna bake these now. Put those in the oven, 450, and we'll probably bake them for about 14 minutes. Coming up, I'm making a milk gravy.
It's delicious. Makes me want to cry.
Tussie.
It does.
And later, fried crabs, y'all, just like my Grandma Paul used to make. Lay these crab on your guests, and they will love them.
I hope y'all are enjoying the show, and I want to hear from you. Tell me what recipes or videos you'd like to see me make by just leaving a short comment below. Now, let's get back to the show, y'all.
Hey, y'all, I'm in here in the kitchen today with this cute young woman named Becky. Becky emailed me that she was having trouble with one of her grandma's recipes. So today's show is all about lost recipes. So I want you and I to be the first one to taste this grapefruit cake that was inspired by Hollywood's famous Brown Derby restaurant.
It's delicious.
This is delicious.
I ate half the cake in one bite.
Look at that big old bite, Becky. You know, we gotta make gravy. Your grandma made a milk gravy,
She did, and she didn't use sausage. So a lot of times they have, in restaurants, it has sausage in it.
That's right.
Oh, let me show you something, Paula.
Okay.
If you don't mind, before you get
No.
started. I brought this
It'll
picture
give me
to
an
share with you.
opportunity to
eat more cake. There you go. This is my grandmother.
This is Bomba.
This is Bomba. Her name was Cleo Moxley Bandy. And that's my favorite picture of her. I think she was 16 at the time in Kentucky. She was gorgeous, just precious.
Well, let's just prop that right there.
So she can watch us make her
And
milk
Bomba
gravy.
can watch us make this milk gravy.
So this is the bacon grease.
This is the bacon grease. Now we're gonna put 1/4 of a cup.
So it's quite a bit of bacon grease.
Of course it is, child. Now we're gonna add 1/4 of a cup of flour. Smell that bacon?
Yes.
You smell that?
That's the smell that makes this so good to me.
Now, because this is a white gravy,
All right.
we're not gonna worry about browning it off. If I'm gonna eat a white gravy, I want it to kind of be white.
All right.
Open that milk, honey, and pour some milk in. It's about 1.5 cups. There we go. I'm gonna change over to our whisk.
Okay.
All right, you wanna whisk those lumps out, and you wanna work with it pretty quickly.
As you eat your cake.
As I eat my cake.
All right, so a little bit more milk, I think.
A little bit more milk.
Not too much, but a little bit more.
Okay.
All right, that
Now,
looks good.
I like for my gravy to come to a good rolling boil, you know, so that the flour taste will cook out. So this will get thicker and thicker, you know, as it cooks. Does that look like the color you remember?
It does.
All right, now see the way that's just cooking
That's really
up?
boiling.
I'm gonna turn that down a little bit, Becky.
Okay.
All right, now let's add our salt and pepper.
That's delicious. It makes me want to cry.
Does it?
It does.
You know, the secret, Becky, is that bacon grease.
Ooh. I would have never thought about doing that.
Never, ever let the butter get too far away from you. Butter and bacon grease. Toot, toot. I mean, it's good, girl. All right, let's see if our biscuits are ready. Oh, Becky, they look so good.
We did good, girl.
We have
Yay.
done so good. I'm just gonna split that biscuit.
Can't wait to try this.
Is it?
I'm not gonna cry on TV.
And I'm not gonna cry either.
It's perfect.
Becky, I hope that you go home and get in the kitchen on the weekends and make these biscuits and gravy and think of all the times that you spent feeling safe and secure with your Bamba.
Absolutely.
You've got wonderful memories
Absolutely.
that nobody can ever take away from you
Absolutely.
as long as you're breathing. Y'all don't go anywhere. Today is all about long-lost recipes. Up next, fried crabs to remember.
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
Well, I'm gonna finish up today making deep fried crabs. It was just something that my grandmother Paula used to cook. No matter where I've traveled, I've never seen this done before. Now, she used cornmeal for all her frying because she loved cornmeal. I've got a nice, fine, white cornmeal that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna add a little salt to that. And Grandma loved heat. She was really into her black pepper. Now, I'm just gonna take our crabs. So we're gonna just parboil these for 10 minutes. It was a little work getting that off. I'm taking off the apron. I've backed our crabs, and I'm using blue crabs that we catch right out here in our backyard. Just gonna pull the center stuff out. And you can see how the crab has an indentation right in the center, right down the middle. So we're just gonna snap those. All right, I'm gonna remove that little leg right there. And then Grandma would take the crab, run it through the meal, just like this, and she would deep fry them. And they were so good. If you're starving, it'll take you a while to get full, but the flavor of these crabs are wonderful. It's just kind of a different way. I thought it was a very unique way that Grandma chose to serve crabs. Like I said, I've never seen anybody do this but my grandmother Paula. This brings back so many memories. into the fryer basket. Uh-oh, I lost a piece of his crab, piece of his cloth. So drop those in just that quickly. We have got our crabs to going. Listen to them popping, popping, popping. Oh, Grandmama, you know, do you ever get so old, too old to miss your grandparents? I don't think so. The smell is coming up, and it's only gonna take a couple of minutes because when we steam or boil crabs, we're looking at anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes. So they cook very, very quickly. You just want your meal to turn a nice golden brown. You know, if you're having a casual party out in the backyard and you want a wonderful quick hors d'oeuvre, lay these crab on your guest and they will love them. It'll certainly keep them occupied. I'm just gonna transfer them to the paper towel for a second, and then I'm gonna just move them right on over to our crab plate. How delicious do those look? Only my grandmama.
Hey, y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if y'all enjoyed this week's full episode Friday, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, friends.